Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about Love Island USA Season 8, Episode 24. So first I'm going to talk about Amora and Carl being back and kind of the reactions to that, the conversations that happened, all of that. So first the boys kind of have like a boy conversation with Carl, I don't know what to call it. But they ask him like how he's feeling about Anaya and if he still wants to like explore that connection. Carl says that he does still want to pursue Anaya, but he kind of has his walls up because she did hurt him when she decided to choose Casey instead of him. Bryce does tell Carl, however, that Anaya was only talking about him since Casa ended, and yeah, like good looks, Bryce. Like that was good. And then Dylan says that Anaya has to earn him, and he brings up how Anaya called him like perfect during her speech, but then she still chose to recouple up with Casey. And Casey rolled his eyes because I guess he didn't like the perfect comment, but I mean, compared to Casey. Then Casey says that he's happy that Carl is back because now Anaya can stop focusing on him. His ego is just so big. Then Corbin and Casey talk after this, and I am honestly so tired of seeing Corbin and Casey on my screen together. I feel like every conversation that they have with each other is just them disrespecting the women. But this is honestly the most like normal conversation I've seen them have. Casey just tells Corbin that he's done with him and Anaya's connection, but that he still wants to talk to Anaya, I guess, to kind of like clear the air or like officially just like be done with that situation. Then the girls have a conversation with Amora when she comes into the villa, and Anaya says that she's happy that Carl is back and she hopes that he can forgive her. Then the girls start trying to like question Amora about how Casa was with the boys. So they ask her about her connection with Sincere and if she was surprised at all that he didn't bring her back. Amora says that she wasn't surprised, she was just like disappointed, and she says that Sincere basically just used Casa as a hall pass because he went back to Melanie after doing everything that he did in Casa with her, which I think is true. Like I just think that he used Casa as a way to explore with no consequences because Melanie wasn't there to see it and then wasn't expecting Amore to be back in the villa, but because of the producers wanting drama, she got voted back in, which I'm happy she did, you know. Um But she does say, Amora does say that she wanted to talk to both Sincere and Melanie. Then Kata asks Amora how Zach was acting in Casa, and Amora says that Zach had a time in Casa, but he wasn't as bad as Casey. So Kata was annoyed at this because she feels like that means that Zach didn't tell her everything that happened in Casa, and she feels like it's bad because she said not as bad as Casey, and Casey brought back another girl. So yeah, I think Zach did tell Kata everything. He just kind of downplayed it a little. Like he made it not as serious as it was, but he was like pretty like he was pursuing Alana pretty hard in the first couple of days. Before Amora can kind of tell Kata like what actually happened in Casa, TT like pulls Amora away, so she never gets to like know what Amora was really talking about. Then Amora and Titi talk, and Titi says that Sincere is fake, basically, and toxic. She says that Sincere has been making it seem like Amora didn't exist at all, and that their connection wasn't as serious as it was. Then Amora says that she is going to have a conversation with Melanie and tell her everything. Amora also says that she never felt like a type of way because Sincere chose Melanie instead of her. It was more so that now it just seems like he used Casa as a hall pass and that he's downplaying their connection. Then Carl pulls Anaya for a chat, and Anaya starts off the conversation by saying she feels bad, and that she hopes that he can forgive her. Carl says that he does like still want to talk to her, but his walls are still kind of up because it was kind of like shocking for him that she chose Casey instead of him. He just asked for her to give him some time, but I'm happy that Anaya is happy, and I'm happy that they're gonna explore. Then Amora pulls Sincere for a chat, and she's basically just mad because she feels like Sincere just hasn't been like honest about what like Casa really was for him, because he was telling her like he was essentially making it seem like he was really interested in her and wanted to take her back to the villa, but then he chose Melanie anyways. So she just feels like he was like playing with her feelings and just using her to explore with no consequences. It's hard for me to feel bad for the girls that are with Sincere, because it's like we've all seen Sincere on TV. We all know what he's going to do. This is not a surprise. Like he did the same thing with Soul. He made their connection seem like really good, and like people voted for him to be with Soul because their connection was so good. And then he just flipped on her like that and went back to Melanie. So there's nothing new with Sincere's behavior. Then Amora asked Sincere if he was honest with Melanie about his connection with her in Casa, and Sincere says that he was honest. He was honest with Melanie that he had a connection in Casa, and he was honest that they like kissed and did whatever in Casa. I think though it's like you can tell someone whatever you want to tell them, right? You can be honest with someone. I think Sincere was kind of honest. Maybe he omitted some stuff, but he was kind of honest. But it's like seeing that like firsthand, like I feel like it's different. Like the way Sincere was acting in Casa, I think was disrespectful to Melanie. The way Zach was acting in Casa, I think was disrespectful to Kata. But they won't know because they didn't see the footage. With Casa, I think it's different. Like for Sincere and for Zach, I think there's different expectations for them because they've been with Melanie and Kata since the beginning, and they've kind of have those like boundaries set of like it's disrespectful to kiss outside of challenges, and they both were doing that, and like it was just weird. I don't think Corbin was as disrespectful in Casa, or what he was doing in Casa wasn't as disrespectful to me until he started like trash talking Kenzie and like saying disrespectful things about her. If he just would have went and explored, then it's whatever. But the fact that he's like disrespecting her and like saying hurtful things about her is just weird. Anyways, back to Sincere and Amora. Sincere says that he never wanted to put Amora in an awkward position, and Amora says that she feels like he took Casa as a hall pass. Sincere says that he didn't do that, and it was like a hard decision for him to choose between Amora and Melanie, and he feels bad at the end of the day. I don't think it was that hard for him, to be honest. I think that he was going to pick Melanie either way. Sincere says that he's happy that she's in the villa, um, but he acts like he basically didn't have a connection with her at all. Like he calls her like big dog or something. And then in confessions, he says that he doesn't want to explore Amora, and he just wants to focus on his connection with Melanie. Then Sincere pulls Melanie for a chat, and he tells Melanie about the conversation that they had. Melanie says that she agrees with Amora when she said that Casa was a hall pass for Sincere, because he was just really affectionate with Amora, and then went back to Melanie and acted like she just didn't exist at all. Melanie says that she's drained and maybe she's not it for him because he's not being honest with her and he's disrespecting her. Then she says that the connection isn't done, but she's just going to take a step back and let Sincere figure out how to deal with it. This is honestly what I needed when I voted for Amora to come back into the villa. I needed some drama, and I needed Melanie to recognize her worth, because she keeps going back to Sincere. Like, America's trying to tell you something, girl. Listen to it. Okay, then Jen and Gall have a conversation, and Jen says that she does like Gall, but she doesn't feel like they have any sexual compatibility because he never compliments her. Jen says that she feels like she's a second option because he wants to talk to other girls. Kinsey. Then Gall says that he's not a physical touch person, but Jen is. So there's like I don't know, there's some conflict there. They do end the conversation like amicably though. They say that they're gonna try to like work it out and compromise so it works for them. But then later, Gall tells the guys that he doesn't want to talk to Jen anymore. He says that he doesn't like her anymore. So what? Okay. Then Kata talks to Zach about Amora's comment when she said that Zach wasn't as bad as KC in Casa. Zach says that if he really liked her, Alana, he would have brought her back. But that's not even true because Alana was kicked out of the villa. So he couldn't have brought her back if he wanted to. Like, I wanted Alana out of the villa, don't get me wrong. But I knew this was going to happen. That Zach was going to use it as like his leeway to be like, oh, but I didn't bring her back because I only want you. But you couldn't have brought her back. So it doesn't make sense. But Kate immediately forgives him. So what more can we do? I'm just hoping movie nights like snaps her out of it. Like, Kata, please. Okay, in the morning, Zach talks to Bryce, and Zach is irritated because Amora made Kata doubt their couple. He feels like Amora wasn't being honest and didn't tell Casa like how it really was. But I feel like she was being honest, like he was doing too much compared to what Kata did in Casa. Like Kata wasn't really doing anything. Zach was doing a lot. I'm only talking about the Zach and Bryce conversation though because Bryce said that he wanted to make it official with Trinity in the conversation, and I had to bring that up. Then Zach says, "Are you actually headed to love?" And Bryce says, "Isn't that the point?" Exactly, Bryce. It is. Then Trinity gets a text, and Bryce and her are going on a date. So let me talk about this date really quickly. They unintentionally match outfits, so again, that's why they're my faves. But they start their date by riding a jet ski, and then they go on this little boat and have champagne. And Trinity says that Bryce is the type of guy her mom would like. Bryce says that his family would really like Trinity. They basically just kind of talk about like how they really like each other and how outside life would look like for them. I'm gonna come back to the date later, but back in the villa, Kinsey talks to Kata and she's talking about her connection with Dylan and how she likes him, but also the fact that she still wants to explore Gal. So she says that she is attracted to Gal and he's the type of person that she would see herself being with on the outside because he's her type. Okay, let me say this really quickly. In the morning, Dylan makes Kinsey breakfast because they're a couple, right? Then later that day, Kinsey asks Gal to make her coffee. Girl. Um, so again, I don't get the whole like, oh, I'm not a roster girl. I hate having a roster because she keeps putting herself in these positions. No one is telling her to explore these two guys. She's doing that herself. Okay, then Melanie and Amora talk finally, basically just to clear the air and compare notes. So it basically just seems like Melanie knows everything. Like Amora asks her, like, "Oh, do you know this? Like, did he tell you about our connection?" Melanie says yes. Um, at the end of the day, I feel like Melanie is always gonna choose sincere. So it doesn't really matter what people tell her, what America tries to tell her. It just seems like Melanie is always gonna choose sincere because she knows what he's done. She feels like she's being disrespected, but she's still with him. So yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the road this is going down. Melanie does ask Amora like what her plan is now because she's back in the villa, and Amora says that she is planning on exploring Caleb because she feels like they had like a good friendship in Casa, but she never explored anything like romantically with him, and she wants to see where that would go. Honestly, like, okay, I voted Amora in to come back to the villa. I didn't think she was gonna last long. Like, I didn't think she would find a connection. I only voted her in, to be honest, because I wanted Melanie to see Sincere and Amora, or for Amora to tell Melanie what was going on in Casa, and that basically happened. So I think she'll be out of the villa soon. Unfortunately, sorry to her. Okay, then Parmita and Corbin talk. Do not want to talk about this, but I kind of have to. So Parmita says that she is closed off, and Corbin says that he is too. So they're closed off. I was shocked. I wasn't expecting Corbin to be one of the people that was closing it off. Actually, the first boy to close it off in the villa. I was not expecting that. And they've also only been together for like a week, maybe. So I don't know. It seems really early to me. I genuinely just want them out of the villa. Like, no hate to them. I just think that they're very dry and very fake. Like, it just seems very superficial. Also, do I think that they'll last outside of the villa? No. I'm expecting 2 weeks maybe, but again, like, maybe they'll prove me wrong. Okay, back to the Bryce and Trinity date. So Bryce says that he's never established anything with anyone outside of the villa, and it's basically just been like assumed that they're gonna be together or official, exclusive, whatever you want to call it. Then he asked Trinity to be his girlfriend, and it is so cute. I did want to put a clip in this video, but I can't because I will probably get copyrighted, and I don't want to get copyrighted again. But they are my favorites. I say that every episode. I also was not expecting this conversation to happen. Like Bryce said that he wanted to close it off, so I was expecting him to say like, "Oh, like I want us to be exclusive. I don't want to explore anymore. I want to close it off." But he went straight to like, "I want you to be my girlfriend," which okay, period. I've never seen. Well, I've seen that in Love Island, but you don't see it very often. Like I've seen maybe three couples say like have the boyfriend girlfriend talking. That's usually after the closed off talk, but he went straight to it. Okay, back to the villa. Corbin and Kinsey finally talk. Corbin apologizes and says that he didn't want to hurt her or embarrass her. Then Kinsey is mad because she feels like he basically disrespected her on live TV and like was like calling her names, not calling her names, but just like disrespecting her and saying hurtful things about her. She also feels like he wasn't honest with her when he told her like he had feelings for her because they had this like nice little conversation before Casa started. And it seemed like they were like really like a strong connection. And then immediately, as soon as Casa started, he switched up. Kinsey says that she wishes that Corbin would have told her he wasn't really feeling her because then she could have explored Corbin or Caleb more instead of choosing Corbin. But honestly, I feel like that's her fault. Like, I'm not gonna say Corbin wasn't like showing Kinsey that he was interested in her, but I will say like Corbin did give F boy energy like from the beginning, like, and I feel like everyone saw that. I do feel like I understand Kinsey's like point though, because he was like telling Kinsey that he was interested in her, and then as soon as he saw the first girl in Casa, he was like, "Oh, Kinsey's done. I'm not coming back to Kinsey." So I feel like it was very clear that going to Casa and finding someone new was always his plan, and he was like dishonest with Kinsey about that. Then Dylan and Kinsey talk, and in confessions, Kinsey says that she is finally getting the romantic vibe that she wanted, and she feels like Dylan is really genuine and she really likes him. But then in the conversation with him, she says that she still wants to talk to Gall to see if there's anything more than just a friend vibe there. So, yeah. Then Gall and Jen talk, and Gall says that he feels guilty because Jin chose him from Casa, and he feels like he's not giving her what she wants in terms of like the physical touch and all of that. He also feels guilty because he still wants to like explore and talk to other girls being Kinsey. And he feels like he's kind of like restricted in a sense because when he tries to explore or whatever, they're like the girls aren't really receptive of that because he's with Jin. And Jen responds and she's like, "Oh, yeah, but that's how it is in the villa. Like, I feel that way too. I think it's just, it comes with the territory, basically. Like, that's just what it's going to feel like." And then Gall kind of like flips it on her and he says Jen is coming off as aggressive and not really listening to what he's saying. Um, then Gall says that it's just not going to work out based on this conversation. But I just feel like it's so obvious that he just didn't want to be with her. Like, let's be serious. He just flipped the whole conversation on her and gaslit her so he could say, "I don't want to explore you anymore, and I want to be with Kinsey." Like, that's what that was. Finally, Casey and Anaya chat, and Casey is the one who pulls her for a chat, but then he's like, "Oh, well, you should talk first." Okay. Anaya does go first though, and she says that she felt like Casey was disrespectful to her because he didn't look at her during the recoupling. He was looking down. Then he had TT speak for him instead of like speaking up for himself. And then he basically just discounted her completely and cut off their connection as soon as he came back with TT. Instead of taking accountability though, I feel like Casey used this conversation as a way to defend his actions instead of just saying like, "I'm sorry, like that was disrespectful." And Anaya says she feels that way too, like he's not taking accountability. Anaya says that Casey tried to turn it on her and make her seem like the villain and that he was the villain or the victim. And then she calls him a coward and he said that he doesn't like that word, but it's like, don't be one then. Then Casey says sorry, finally, after Anaya asked him to. And it basically ends there. Casey says that he doesn't want to leave her on bad terms, but Anaya says that she doesn't want to associate herself with someone who belittled her and disrespected her, which props to her. Finally, Kinsey and Gaul talk, and Gaul tells Kinsey that Jin and him had a conversation. She didn't take it well, and he broke it off with her. Starts the conversation off like that. Then Kinsey says that, she doesn't want to hurt Jin and that she loves Jin, but she wants to still explore Gaul because she likes him and he is her type. Then they kiss, and I will be honest, I did not like Kinsey in the beginning. I'm not her biggest fan, but I will say she is kind of funny, and I do find it entertaining to watch her go between guys. Like, it's very interesting. I've never seen like a girl on Love Island do this. So it was very interesting to me. That's it for this episode, but movie night is tomorrow, you guys. So stay tuned for that. I'm so excited. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, stay tuned for movie night. Thank you. Bye.